Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 Board of Directors candidate interview. Today, very special guest, Wilbur Wallis, will be joining me. And Wilbur, we've known each other for a long time, so there's can't be any bias on my end, but I've got some questions that I'm going to hit you with. You ready to do this?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, the first ones are pretty easy to get you started, so we'll hit on those real quick. First of all, how long have you been a PDGA member?
I joined in 1992.
1992. I'll go ahead and follow that up with how long have you played disc golf, and then what drove you to the sport?
I first started throwing frisbees in the late 60s, early 70s when I was, 6, 7 years old. And like it says on the disc, invent games. So me and my brothers, we'd throw around the light pole and try to hit the garbage can. We didn't know it at the time, but that was golf. I guess the first time I actually threw at baskets, though, was 1986 in Bradley Park. And it was one of those, somewhere in the middle of that first round, I fell in love with the game. I knew I'd be doing it the rest of my life.
And then also the follow-up to all of those is, what is your PDGA number signing up in 1992?
6583.
6583, one of the coveted 4-digit numbers. Yeah. All right, let's get to some very specific and yet detailed questions here that were presented and given to me. We're going to start number one. It says, one of the two main elements of the PDGA mission is to develop disc golf into a globally recognized competitive sport and recreational activity. What does that mean to you, and how would you contribute as a member of the board towards this objective?
Well, I don't have a whole lot of experience with the global part, but I think we need to do everything we can to get all diversities represented: women, people of color, old people, young people. I really think we have a huge opportunity to get younger people, get it in schools, use the EDGE program.
Okay. And then the follow-up to that is, it says the other element of the PDGA mission is to sustain the growth of the organization, membership, and disc golf. So the same questions as to what does that mean to you, and how would you contribute? How would you contribute to that sustaining the growth of the organization and the membership, et cetera?
I think we got to make it appealing so that not only do we attract new members, we keep the members that are, let's try it out for a year. There's been a lot of people over the years that, okay, I'll join, but then they may not renew for whatever reasons. We need to figure out what's going on with that and make sure that people are multiple years.
Okay. Have another one that follows that up, which is the current priorities from the 2023 strategic plan include the following areas. And I'm going to kind of read through them quickly, and then we can have you prioritize them, so to speak. And if you need me to repeat them, that's not a problem. But the current priorities of the strategic plan include youth and education, increased sport support for local clubs, enhancing PDGA leagues, membership levels and benefits, as in the supporting member, the club member, so on and so forth, sustainability, such as safe courses, minimizing environmental impacts, maintaining equipment standards, and then marketing and media. So there's
put these up on a list.
Yeah, I know. We could start the first, and I'll quickly recap them. Mm-hmm. But so the first challenge to all of those would be giving me your top one or two priorities out of those 5 or 6 listed, and I'll read them again real quick. Youth and education, increased support for local clubs, enhancing PDGA leagues, membership levels and benefits, sustainability, and then marketing and media. So of those, those 5 or 6 main bullet points, is there any one or two that you would prioritize above the others?
The first one was what?
Youth and education?
Yeah, definitely that. Without having youth involved, we'll eventually run out of players if we don't keep young people joining. Sustainability, yes, that's there. We need to keep going, whether it's with courses or just whatever it is. I think we need to, let's see, Read
Well,
them again real quick.
yeah, and I was going to say, and I'll say this for you. It says, which two priorities do you feel are the most important and why? So, I mean, if you wanted to elaborate, you were talking about
Okay.
youth and education, and then the other one that you said jumps out at you is sustainability. We have membership levels, enhancing PDGA leagues, increase support for local clubs, and marketing and media. If youth and education, and then we'll say sustainability, if that's the other one you want, why do you feel like those are so important as top priorities out of that entire list?
What was the one again about different levels?
The membership levels and benefits,
Right.
as in a supporting member, a club member, someone like your mother maybe, who didn't necessarily compete but it's still a PDGA Hall of
Great
Famer.
example. Yeah, I think my top two would be the with the youth, and also with the various different supporting levels, membership levels. The youth, I think we obviously need to get that going, get it going in schools. I would love to see more school teams, high school, college, and the different levels of membership. It's great to, totally 100% agree, need to be a PDGA member to play in PDGA tournaments. But there's also a whole bunch of volunteers that they don't necessarily ever play in a tournament, but they want to be a part of it. I can see a reduced membership fee for those people that I want to be an official. I want to help out at tournaments. If they wanted to, if they're in that supporting member and they want to play at a tournament, then they're going to have to pay that same $10 PDGA fee that a non-member would play.
Okay, so you see that there's a need for different levels, because as we know right now, we essentially have a junior, an amateur, and a professional level.
Right.
And you're suggesting that we could see more, a little expansion in those ways.
I know quite a few people that have never played in a tournament that still want to be a part of the PDGA.
Yeah, and that maybe leads right to the next question, which is, what skills and experiences would you bring to the board to help further these priorities that you just mentioned?
Well, first of all, I've been a longtime PDGA member, so I kind of know what's going on with how to run tournaments, how to play in tournaments. I've been involved with the PDGA, helping out with tournaments for years. I think I've been an official at 18 or 19 world championships now, 5 or 6 other majors, as well as, I think I'm at 9 women's nationals. I've also I was on the Peoria Frisbee Club board for over 10 years. I was the president for 10 years. I also have founded a disc golf club in my hometown area of Champaign, Illinois now. So I've got 20 years of experience being on a board, maybe not at the national or international level, but I do kind of know how things are going on with that. I've also worked many years in retail, dealing with a lot of different personalities there. And I've been at my current job in manufacturing with a sporting goods company. I've been with them, it'll be 19 years in August, dealing with a lot of different aspects, warehousing, designing some merchandising displays. I'm in charge of a line that fills that up. So I'm dealing with a lot of different people on a daily basis.
Okay, just as our disc golf is, of course, very different and very. It seems like the base is growing at such an incredible rate. We have had all walks of life, so to speak. All right, so the next question, if we're moving on to the 5th question, is
5 already.
Yeah, we're already on 5. You're moving along. There's a burgeoning professional scene that attracts eyeballs, but the vast majority of membership is amateurs. What do you think the organization's balance between the two should be? As in, what we're seeing in terms of the push for maybe the professional side, but then also knowing so many of our members are actually amateurs competitively.
Oh boy, that's a multi-edged sword there. I mean, I've always been around the PDGA. It's always been professional and amateur.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's definitely more amateurs. I don't know if cater's the right word, but we definitely need to be involved and know what the amateurs are wanting. Definitely involved in setting the rules for everything. PDGA definitely should still be running majors. national tour. I don't know. Maybe that could be absorbed into the pro tour. I don't know. I'm definitely willing to discuss things like that. I'm not set in any ways at this point of time.
Okay. Okay. Do you see that as a major pull? This is my own follow up to that, but do you see that as a major discrepancy or pull for our players right now, or where people are very staunchly arguing for one side or the other? Do you see or experience any of that when people talk about the dichotomy that we have?
I think it's a lot of keyboard warriors that are just bringing that up, to be honest. I don't see it being as a major issue, really.
Okay. Okay. Well, moving on to number 6, it says there is evidence, such as the current surge of membership and event growth, staff size, etc., that says stay the course. On the other hand, there's people who feel that the PDGA needs to change. Where do you fall on that spectrum and why?
I don't know if change we need to do. There's definitely things that we should definitely look at and see if maybe we can go a little bit to one way, something else. But overall, I think the PDGA is doing a pretty good job. We've definitely had a big, huge, giant boom in the last couple of years, and there's growing pains there. 100% agree with that. But as of huge, major changes, I don't think we really need to too much. Definitely some tweaks here and there.
Again, I'll follow up and say if there were a significant change or something that you feel is teeters on that larger scale, is there anything off the top of your head that you'd like either implement or change that you're thinking of right away?
No, nothing really jumps out at me.
Okay. Okay. All right, we're going to move on. And I think one of the specific ones that comes to you, this is unique. It looks like it was crafted up just for you. It says you have the lowest PDGA number of any candidate on this ballot and varied experience volunteering in disc golf or at disc golf events, including serving as a state coordinator. Tell us about one of the biggest challenges you've faced over the years, how you address it, and what you would do differently. Yeah, we'll go with all of that. There's a little tail to that, but tell us about any challenges that you faced as a state coordinator, and maybe I'm going to set you up just a little and say, explain to someone what the state coordinator typically is doing, since you served as such.
I was the first state coordinator for Illinois.
Yep.
Back was it around 2000? I think they went to state coordinators. The PDGA kind of said, "Hey, you want to do it?" And I said, "Sure." And I did run for a re-election once and won that too. But the main thing the state coordinator does is sets the state schedule with all the sanctioned events. Back when I started doing that, it was very difficult because we didn't have this really cool thing called the internet back then. It was just starting. So it was phone calls and emails. And now you can just get on and do a Zoom meeting with everybody. It makes it a whole lot easier.
Yeah, and so that's where it says talk about one of the biggest challenges, scheduling for the upcoming season was definitely probably the biggest challenge for you.
Oh, huge.
And maybe you just kind of answered it where it says, what would you do differently? Was there anything then that you could bring into today that you would do differently?
We've got a whole lot more tournaments, a whole lot more areas, more courses, more tournament directors, everything in the state of Illinois now. So it definitely adds to a challenge of it. There was just a couple of hotbeds back when I did it, so it wasn't that difficult. One of the things I think and I'm sure the state coordinators are doing this amongst themselves, but areas that have large populations near a border definitely need to be working together. Like in our area, Quad Cities, Illinois and Iowa, those two state coordinators need to be working together. I'm assuming that they are. I hope so. St. Louis is another great example, Missouri and Illinois again. So there's Kansas with Kansas City, Missouri. Definitely need to be working together with the state coordinators in the region. You used to have regional coordinators, and now it's the state, but I'm assuming everybody's still doing that, just for scheduling wise.
Yeah, and I'll just follow that up and say I can think of so many areas where they're close. You think of an Indiana and a Michigan where a lot of the players may have crossover. Really,
Right.
anywhere there's a lot of golf, there could be crossover near the borders, and so I can totally see your point on that. All right. Well, those are not. I told you there wouldn't be anything probably that would blow your hair back too bad.
Hair, I don't
But
have hair.
is there any parting shots, any final words you'd love for all of the potential voters out there to know?
I'm very passionate about disc golf. Anybody that knows me, I'm sure knows that. I want to do everything I can to make disc golf better and bigger. I think this is just the next step for me is to be on the board of directors. I've been wanting to do it for a while. I think I'm ready.
All right. Well, guys, that's all we've got here for the 2021 Board of Directors interview with Wilbur Wallis. I want to thank you guys all for joining. Wilbur, I want to, regardless of how any outcomes for all of our candidates go, I want to say thank you for putting yourself out there. Thank you for volunteering, even just the idea of sitting on the board. And of course, we wish you the best of luck.
Thanks, Terry. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.